Magneto, a mutant, swears vengeance on all of humanity after the Nazis kill his family. You may have seen the reason in the movie X-Men First Class. If not, check our channel's playlist X-Men Movies in English. In the meantime, Professor Charles Xavier gathers a cadre of good mutants and races and trains them. This movie explains a story that occurred before the death of the character Mystic. Magneto gathers the evil Sabretooth and Mystic to eliminate anyone who stands in his way, including Wolverine. There's a bloody struggle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. Wolverine joins Xavier's team, the X-Men, just in time to discover Magneto's evil scheme to wipe out humanity. The film explores prejudice, fear of the unknown, and the struggle for acceptance. It also sets up the complex relationship between Professor Xavier and Magneto, who were once friends but now find themselves on opposite sides of the ideological divide. Let's get into the movie recap of X-Men. Welcome to Movie Spotlight. A 13-year-old child is taken from his parents upon entering a concentration camp in German occupied Poland in 1944. Four guards stifle him when he attempts to re enter after the gates have closed. As if drawn by a magnetic force, the gates begin to coil inward towards the group as a second guard knocks the boy out cold. In the present, Mary, a girl, studies in her Meridian, Mississippi home with her boyfriend. He is knocked unconscious and on the verge of death when they embrace and kiss each other. When her mother gets there, she shouts not to get closer to her or touch her. Shaken, she decides to leave her house. Opposing Jean Grey's opinion, Senator Robert Kelly is trying to enact a Mutant Registration Act in Congress which would compel mutants to disclose their identities and powers to the public. Charles Xavier, a telepathic mutant, also takes part in the conference. Charles notices Lensher, who now goes by Magneto, attending and worries about his reaction to the Registration Act. Mary runs away to Alberta under the alias Rogue. At the local Canadian pub, she meets Logan, also known as Wolverine, a mutant with metal claws sticking out from his knuckles and tremendous healing powers. Rogue gets in the truck and travels along with Wolverine, who gets unaware about this. Wolverine finds this and kicks her out of the truck. Rogue pleads to go along with him, and Wolverine takes along. Rogue shares that due to her mutation, she can momentarily acquire the talents of any mutant she comes in contact with. Abruptly, Sabretooth, a mutant and Magneto's associate, attack both of them on their way. When Cyclops and Storm shows up there, they save Wolverine and Rogue. Magneto was working on his plans to equalize the playing field for humans and mutants. Cyclops and Storm take them to the expansion. Awakened Wolverine finds himself in the institution overseen by Professor Charles Xavier, who also serves as a leader of the group of mutants who aim to stop Magneto from beginning a war with humans, teach young mutants how to use their talents responsibly, and find peace with humans. Wolverine is not interested in staying with Charles and the team. Charles, who already knew Wolverine running for 15 years searching for his identity and past, promised him to find the answers he was searching for. Concurrently, Rogue becomes a new student at the academy and falls in love with Bobby Drake, a cryokinetic mutant. Senator Kelly is taken hostage by Mystic and Todd, taking him to their secret location on the unknown island of Genosha, after which he is taken to Magneto, who uses a mission to intentionally cause a mutation in Kelly. Meanwhile, at Charles' institution, Wolverine develops an interest in Jean Grey. When Wolverine is having a bad dream at night, Rogue visits him. She is accidentally stabbed by him after being startled, but she recovers by using his healing power, which almost kills Wolverine. Despite this, Kelly uses his newfound powers to escape from prison. Following an incident in which Rogue uses her abilities on Wolverine, Mystique, disguised as a fellow student Drake, persuades her that Xavier is upset with her and that she ought to leave the school. Xavier locates Rogue at the rail station using Cerebro, and Wolverine heads first to retrieve Rogue. After leaving before Storm and Cyclops, Wolverine tracks Rogue down on the train and persuades her to come back. Mystique sabotages Cerebro by infiltrating the system. Magneto shows up before they can depart, disarming Logan and subduing Rogue to explain that it's her, not Wolverine, that he wants. Xavier tries to stop him by taking control of Sabretooth mentally, but when Magneto threatens the gathered police at the station, he is compelled to let go and let the Brotherhood and Rogue escape. When Kelly gets to the school, Xavier uses mind reading to discover what Magneto's contraption is all about. The X-Men surmise that he plans to give Rogue his talents so she can power them, even though doing so could endanger her life. This is because he realized that powering it almost killed him. Kelly's body turns into liquid as a result of his body's rejecting his mutation, and finally he dies. Mystique's previous tampering with the cerebro causes Xavier to go into a coma when he tries to use it to find Rogue. After learning that the Brotherhood intends to install its mission on Liberty Island and use it to mutate the global leaders gathered at the summit on neighboring island, Jean Grey, a fellow telepath and telekinetic, fixes the Cerebro and puts it to use. As the party reaches the top of the monument, defeating Toad and rendering Mystique helpless, Magneto and Sabretooth render the group helpless and proceed with their schemes. Rogue is compelled to use Magneto's talents to activate the mission after he gives them to her. After escaping and engaging Sabretooth in combat, Wolverine is flung from the top of the statue. When Wolverine reappears, Cyclops shoots Sabretooth out of the statue with Jean's assistance. While Jean keeps him steady with the telekinesis, Storm uses her powers to propel Wolverine to the top of Magneto's apparatus. As time is running out, Wolverine tries to stop the mission and save Rogue, but Magneto stops Wolverine's claws because he has partially recovered. Meanwhile, the activation process causes a portion of Rogue's head to turn white. After Cyclops hits Magneto with a clean shot, Wolverine can take down the mission. While rendering himself helpless, Wolverine gives Rogue a boost from his abilities. Professor Xavier emerges from his coma to assist him in discovering more about his history. Xavier dispatches Wolverine to a military facility close to Alkali Lake. After witnessing Mystic pose as Senator Kelly on news program, the group finds out that she is still alive even after Wolverine stabbed her at Liberty Island. When Xavier pays Magneto a visit in his makeshift cage, they play chess. Xavier responds to Magneto's warning that he will carry on with this fight by saying that he and the X Men will always be there to stop him.